Right, so another small update. I'll just hit play on this. So I've changed well, I've added in a fade version of the typewriter text, and I've also added in an append function so that we can. Well, I'll show you the fade text first. So fade text looks like this, but then if we want to be able to add maybe directions afterwards or something like that without actually getting rid of any of this text, we can append that text, which looks like this. And it still has the the same things it did have before, but the same functionality rather. But yeah. So just so you can get some sort of an idea of how much I've done on this system already. We've got this entire sort of scene set up for the visual novel aspect of the game. Oh, I've got to save that because I've altered something. So we've got a few managers in there. We've got the dialogue systems manager itself, a player input manager here. We've got our main and overlay cameras and a main and overlay canvas. I haven't touched the overlays for anything yet, but I'm going to get around to that. We have an underlying background which will just allow us to fade everything out and still have some sort of background if need be. Background, obviously, we can change that image. Characters layer, cinematics layer, HUD layer, which is essentially it's going to be behind the dialogue HUD and it'll be turned off at some points, but then when the HUD is actually necessary, the dialogue HUD will be turned off as well. So yeah, it's basically just that, and a lot of the same components will be present on the HUD as what are present on here, although there's definitely ways we can optimize that to just have one thing there. So we've got the foreground and then controls afterwards, including just an on-screen. If you click anywhere other than any of the other buttons, then it'll advance text. And yeah, so I've made this enormous script here. If I go into user controls, player input, script here. If I go into here, I've got file manager here, file paths here. If we go to dialogue, name container, dialogue system, the dialogue parser here, dialogue container, we go into managers, we've got conversation manager here, and we've got a dialogue line here. So I've done a lot of code. Okay, so we've got commands working a little bit better now. So if you see here, we have deconceing moving left, and then we've got a function to move character demo left. This is just in amongst a bunch of example functions, so that people know how to set them up. So if we go back to this, and then add moving right and then left, print parameter start right movement. I'll just print that to the console. And then we have this in particular. So we've got the movement here, but we've got this wait specifier here. And this specifies that this operation must finish before it can move on to the next one, which is really, really quite useful, considering that if we were to just call this and then call the move left, this would immediately overtake the order of operations of this. So I'll show you what this looks like just now. So moving left, so the action triggers as soon as the dialogue finishes. So you've seen this before, and then there you go. So the text finished there, and then moving right and then left, and you can see here started right movement, started left movement, and it's finished moving. So yeah, that's the sort of, well, it's a basic level of the sort of power we can get from these scripting prompts. We can use them to unlock achievements and things like that when the player gets to certain parts of the story. Obviously apply screen shake or screen effects, shaders, play sounds, play music, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's I think the last bit of progress for today. Okay, so we've got a test script set up here, just to demonstrate what what I've implemented today. So Deacon says a line first, and then we're going to set his dialogue color to a different color. And he's going to say something else. Then we're resetting his dialogue so that when he says his next thing, it'll be back to how it normally was. I've got a line for Isaac, a line for Zach, and you'll see that depending on which character's talking, the color changes, or they have their own default colors and their own default fonts, which we can use or we can not use later on, but it's just nice to have the option. So we play this. See, D says, "Hey guys, how you doing?" Guys said, "Hey guys, how you doing?" And different font for Isaac, and different color, different for Zachary as well. There we go. So that's essentially what I've been doing today, and setting up the sort of framework for characters themselves. So we've got a bunch of dialogue character manager, just to allow us to essentially, set up the individual character system. Dialogue character is sort of the parent class, and then we have our character sprite, our character live 2D, which will be used for like animated characters if you want to have them in there. If not, that's fine. And then we have character text in there as well. So it's they're all used for different things, but they have the same basic functionality, which is built into their parent class, which should allow us to essentially just say, yeah, this one's visible, this one's not visible, this one's animated. But yeah. Okay, right, so I apologise, I'm on my laptop at the moment because I've just moved back to still getting stuff set up, but I'm working on my laptop at the moment. But I've got it set up so that we can now spawn characters, and we are able to fade them in and fade them out. I've also set up a bunch of let's go over to here. Set up all of the characters within the configuration manager, so we have all of them in here, and I've set up prefabs for all of them so that we can just spawn them in. I can probably get rid of all of these ones here, because if I spawn Isaac in, he just spawns in as a clone of this prefab. Same with the rest of them. But so what I've got it set to at the moment is that when they spawn, their alpha is at 0, so they're transparent, and then this show function is called, which slowly raises their alpha value to 1, so that they're completely opaque. And if I go into this test script rather. So I'll wait for a second, spawn in Isaac, wait for a second, hide him, which does exactly the opposite of show, wait for a second, show, and also you just pick it out, dude. So I press play, then we can see that in action. As soon as this loads, I apologize, my laptop is so slow in comparison to my PC. Alright, so there you go, he spawned in, out, in, I'm spacing out, dude. I do have to remove that dialogue and the name from there. But yeah, so that's current progress today. It's been a very large amount of setting up today, honestly, setting up a bunch of systems. So hopefully I'll be able to progress with it a bit more. But yeah, we'll have a bit more done this week. Right, okay, so I've been working on the character repositioning, and I've managed to get it looking fairly smooth. We have two different kinds of movement. So we have unsmooth movement, which could probably be used for, like, I don't know, walking or something like that, and we have smooth movement, which can be used if there's another character enters in and we want the character that's on screen to budge along a little bit. So I can show you exactly what I mean. So at the start, we should have Isaac enter in, fade out, fade in somewhere else, move to his first position using smooth movement, and then move to his second position using unsmooth movement, which you'll see right now. Whenever this decides to load. Okay, so he's there. There. That smooth movement there. And that is unsmoothed movement right there. Yes, that's what I've done today, and tomorrow I'll be working on character highlighting and hopefully a few other things. But we'll see how far I get.